Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kirsten DeMello.
And according to my name tag, I'm John DeRosa. We're going to lead you through tonight's event, along with Carol Strohschneider and Leo Vieira. But first, as sponsors want to welcome us, our sponsors are the Spiritist Society of Virginia, the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, the Allan Kardec Spiritist Society of Maryland, the Spiritist Society of Long Beach, and the Becerra de Menendez Spiritist Society, Kardec Radio, and EDI-CEI of America. Extend a heartfelt welcome to the 4th U.S. Peace and You movement, science and spirituality of doing good. Now, we're going to take a few moments to reflect on the purpose and the meaning of our event tonight. And to do so, please join us in welcoming Dr. Vanessa Anzalone, the President of the Spiritist Society of Virginia, the founder and host of Kardec Radio, and the editor-in-chief of the Spiritist magazine.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. It really feels good because we're talking about healing, we're talking about peace, we're talking about the gospel. There's nothing better than that. Oh, there is, when we actually do it, right? But we are like halfway. So Paul of Tarsus once said, "Wherever there is work, there will be wealth. And wherever there is cooperation, there will be peace." So peace depends on cooperation. Cooperation depends on resources. And resources depend on work. When Jesus said the peace lovers or peacemakers or peace-loving people will inherit the earth, we ask, who will inherit the earth? But certainly, earth is getting better. And we certainly want to stay here because it's really getting better. How are we going to stay if we don't achieve that state of peace? Divaldo Franco is one of the people on the earth who is leading our planet towards this achievement. He has been promoting peace first within himself and then by working, promoting greater cooperation around the world. Through cooperation, we can feel peace. The Peace and You movement actually is not a religious movement. It is actually a civil movement. It's not political either, and has the sole objective of prompting all segments of society, citizens and collective organizations, civil, religious, government, to pay attention to the critical question of social peace and harmony. In this way, the movement hopes to accelerate the building of progress in all forms, supported by accepted universal notions of ethics, of good customs, of rights, of solidarity, as a means of eliminating arbitrary exclusions and to promote social richness, life, balance by peaceful coexistence. The Peace and You movement came to life in 1998 through Divaldo Franco's initiative. He is a renowned medium, humanitarian, speaker, who has been traveling around the world doing amazing works, free of charge. He does not have any demand. He is 86 and he travels without any food restriction, which is unbelievable, without any demands regarding lodging, transportation, wherever. He doesn't have an entourage, by the way. He has friends. Friends who come from Brazil, like Julio and Vera, who came from Brazil just to see Divaldo Franco here, there, and everywhere. Friends who come from New York, like Angelita, Edison, Marcelo, Adilson, and others, who come from all over the place in the United States. Our translator, Daniel Assisi, who has been helping Divaldo Franco come across with his beautiful speech and building inspiration so people can live better. We know of places around the world in which people are living better because Divaldo Franco is spreading the good news of Christ. Not Divaldo Franco's news, the Christ news. He is spreading them around, and we feel so much at peace. I'll never forget my favorite passage of the gospel. When Jesus comes to Bartholomew, a man much like many people on earth nowadays, he has depression. He had depression. And he comes and says, Master, I love the good news. I love your message, but how can I actually live it to the fullest? If my father doesn't like me, my mother is deceased, she was the only one who loved me, and my colleagues at work tease me all the time, my brothers, they hate me. Jesus then turns to him, smiles, and says, Bartholomew, have you heard of good news that don't bring joy? The good news have come to bring us joy. And the trademark of the follower is hope, courage, and faith. So follow through, and you will be much better. This is one of the accounts of the passages of Jesus that really transformed the life of Bartholomew and can transform our lives. Tonight we're celebrating peace on earth through the teachings of the Christ consciousness. And it's universal. No matter the religious pathway we take, or even if we don't take any, whatever ethical, moral principles we want to align, the Christ consciousness is the one that will bring us peace. When we talk about peace, inevitably we talk about the action of love. Tonight we celebrate 150 years of the Gospel according to Spiritism as well, which was published in April of 1864. It's quite amazing. A book published by Allan Kardec at a time in which science and religion were totally divorced. And this book faced the advancements of science in such a way that nowadays we have many of its core principles already proved by science in some way. But the core principle is, without charity there is no salvation. And tonight, as the Peace and New movement awards those who are creating greater peace on the earth, Dr. Stephen Post was chosen to be the 2014 awardee of the United States Peace and New. You will very soon learn more about Dr. Post if you haven't heard about him before, and you know why he was chosen. We commend his work because he has proved with his colleagues that really, without charity, there's no salvation. Or the opposite, with charity, there is a lot of joy. It is really good to be good, not only for ourselves as an individual, but for our society. And in the United States, when we talk about peace and the gospel, it also makes us remind of a historical moment in the Spiritist movement. In 1965, Chico Xavier, the renowned medium, came to the United States for the first time. He was received by a most special family, the Haddad family. The Haddads were in North Carolina, and they received Salim Haddad and his wife, Phyllis, with their 3 children, received Chico Xavier and the medium Divaldo Vieira with open hearts. Haddad, the head of the family, he was a spiritist who was quite unique, a pioneer in the United States. With Chico Xavier, they founded the first spiritist center in North Carolina and in the United States. Later on, Divaldo Franco also came to the United States. First time it was in 1969. Then later, he became acquainted with the Haddad family, and they became good friends. Last year, our friend Kirsten de Mello found out that Edwina Haddad was living in the United States. And as she was around, she was contacted by Kirsten, and then we bridged up a conversation. Since then, Edwina and I have been talking about a lot of the correspondence between Chico Xavier and the Haddad family, and Divaldo Franco and the Haddad family. And tonight, we're going to celebrate this moment of bringing the good news to the United States through the Spiritist knowledge, through the Haddad family, which was quite pioneering, by giving to Divaldo Franco, if he probably doesn't have everything, I think, the whole correspondence we found through Edwina between him and Salim Haddad. Here we find a piece of history that happened in the Spiritist movement in the United States. And to hand this very sacred collection to Divaldo Franco, we have here Edwina and David Haddad. Please come here. And we're especially grateful because Edwina has scanned like hundreds, I think almost like thousands of documents, so we could study, and we'll publish in the upcoming Spiritist magazine and in a book the much of the work and the history that has of the making of the Promised Consoler in the United States. And now I'll hand the microphone in some way to Edwina and David so they can speak a few words.
Okay.
Divaldo, please.
Thank you so much. Vanessa and I have become very close within the last several months. And she originally contacted me and asked if I had any memories and things like that of both Chico Xavier coming to visit in the early 60s. And I sort of had to let her know that I was about 8 years old. So anyway, but I did have a few memories, and hopefully we'll be sharing some of those over the interview, I think, right? Kardec Radio interview, I think, will be April?
Yeah, at the end of April.
At the end of April. So, but anyway, yes, this has been quite a journey, and we're so happy to be here to see our dear friend Divaldo. And we'd love to give you this as a memento of my mother and father's work.
My brother. Thank you so much.
Do you want to
No, just thank you.
So Divaldo will comment on this when he comes on stage to give his speech, and then he's also commenting on this. So the tone of this event is family, peace, and the gospel of Jesus. So we hope we can feel the presence by giving our own contribution, knowing that at this very moment, in the spirit realm, there are hundreds, thousands of spirits who are not only learning, but they are serving, they are helping everyone. It's a therapeutic session for all of us. So let us enjoy it and keep our vibrations very high so we can feel the very presence of the Christ within us. Thank you very much.
Our guest speaker, Dr. Stephen Post, will receive the Peace in You Award for his accomplishments in promoting peace through his research, in promoting solidarity, through volunteering. The award will be presented by Mr. Divaldo Franco, the founder of the Peace in You movement. Please join us, Dr. Post and Mr. Divaldo Franco.
Would you like to say something?
I'd just like to say thank you very much. What an inspiring speech from Divaldo, and all of you uplift this world and just keep up the good work. And I'm grateful to be here with you, and thank you, Vanessa.
Congratulations, Dr. Post. And thank you, Mr. Divaldo Franco, for such a beautiful initiative for bringing greater peace to all of us.
Ninguém suporta mais.